A lot of good things. I just thought we were a little too loose with the puck. It would be my one criticism of our game tonight. Many opportunities we had to win. I thought we gave up our fair share of opportunities to lose that game as well. So, I think our guys see a real stark difference between, how good our puck management was last Saturday, last weekend as a whole, and, more or less how it's been, and, the difference between that and how we were tonight. We lived on the fringe a little bit tonight, and probably on both sides it was a little bit more of a track meet than either coach would have wanted it to be. Having said that, again, to be in a position to win against a ranked team late in the year was good, and we'll take everything that we can out of this and head to Songus tomorrow afternoon.
Norm said that, sometimes feel like a win and sometimes feel like a loss. This one he said kind of felt like a win for his team. Did it feel like maybe the opposite for your team a little bit, given the way they came back?
I try not to read the scoreboard. I didn't feel like, there was any significant advantage throughout the course of the process tonight. I thought both teams did some good things, and both teams, like I say, for the most part, were, careless with the puck, which fed the other team's offense. So I don't know that I could walk away from this one feeling like there was any significant feel good or feel bad about it.
Coach, the forecheck looked really good tonight to begin the game. Can you just talk about how you developed that over the year and how the guys have started to buy into the system more?
Well, I don't know necessarily buying into the system. It's just, we continue to, we're not going to bang a lot of people and be overly physical on a forecheck, although we play an aggressive forechecking style. It's more about taking pucks away and getting in the guy's hands, and that's a skill that needs to be learned. I think our guys have just gotten better at the individual skill of that. Our ability to be first out number after we get a bump on the body or a puck touch with our first guy on the forecheck, is also something that's helped out a lot. So those are two things that are always, again, going to feed our energy a little bit. And, again, been one of the reasons why in the second half we've been much better.
Obviously great to have Steven Yakovlev back. What was it like having him on the bench, having him in the locker room, and having him on the ice?
It's good. Obviously a familiar face and a guy that's going to eat a lot of minutes for you in a lot of situations. So I'm obviously mostly happy that Steve's healthy. And then secondly, it was nice to see him in the lineup. It's, allows us to slot a little bit more appropriately. Still with being short with Troy out of the lineup tonight was, is always an obstacle to manage when your fifth-year senior captain and voice of the team is out of the lineup again for the third consecutive night. But I thought our guys did a nice job of managing their energy that way.
And just to bounce off that, any update on Troy? I know we're all concerned about him.
No, we'll again see how he is in the morning, and but my guess is that it'll be another week before we see him in a jersey. Would be my guess right now.
What was your opinion on the no goal of the day?
It's it's one of those difficult ones. I don't think it would have mattered much. Just the way that it was bang bang and where the rebound went. Clearly there was contact. I don't know who it was. Who took the initial shot, and the way that his body was positioned and the way that their goaltender was trying to make the initial save, they wound up, bumping into each other. That puck goes directly to the other side and directly onto our guy's stick, and it's a wide open net. So was there contact? Sure. Was it initiated by us? I don't think it was. And but those are all things that aren't in the referee's purview at that point. So unfortunately, that one goes against us. But it's a pretty big swing right there, especially when we go a man down coming right off of that. It's obviously a huge penalty kill for us to get through. When we don't get the goal.
Coach, you finished 0-4 on the power play. You did get that throwing in the goal, but what was your overall impression of special teams play tonight?
PK was good. Power play, I thought. We did a poor job of supporting on the break-in, and then I thought early on, obviously they came a lot more aggressive on the PK than they were on last Saturday, and I thought we more worried about getting into our positions than worrying about possession, and that's always something that you're trying to guard against, and then they kept us on the run. You know, they were more effective at outworking our power play tonight. And so we've got to come out tomorrow and make sure that, you know, our work ethic on the power play is better than their work ethic on the kill.
And just going back to Micheletto again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you put him back on the line with Petrano and Gogi. So what have you seen from that group that made you decide to go back to that line?
Well, you know, obviously Ray and Steven have a tremendous working knowledge of each other, having played, I think, just about every shift of every game last year together. You know, alongside Troy Power during their freshman campaigns. So they clearly have a little bit of chemistry there that works, and, you know, putting Frank as a guy who can really pull the trigger on that line, you know, gives them an element. You know, both Steven and Ray have shown a proficiency in being able to score, but you know, Ray has got good setup abilities, and, you know, Steven's able to rat it out around the net. And so I think it gives you a little bit of different flavors that blend well together.
What's it like to have a guy like Brandon Montour on the back line? I mean, on that goal we scored, it seemed like it was 2 strides and the puck was in the back of the net.
Yeah. Like I say, his skating's, you know, very good, and he gets out in the open ice, and he can make things happen. And, you know, he's a guy I'm pretty sure that other teams are paying attention to when he jumps over the bench for his next shift, because they've got to try to keep him in front of them. You know, so again, been a nice addition to us, and certainly bolstered our offense. You know, as he continues to develop his overall game, I'm glad he's here. Is that a master of the obvious statement?
Coach, despite the tie, how do you like Steve Mastaler's performance?
Steve gave us an opportunity to win. You know, and you talk about teams where puck management really wasn't at premium tonight. That's clearly going to put goaltenders in bad spots. So, you know, I don't know that we gave up a ton of grade A's off of defensive zone setups. A lot from the perimeter, I know. You know, but I thought the thing with Steve is when we needed a save, he was there for us. So, you know, I think it continues a handful of games here in a row now that he's, I feel, been square and big, and allowed his size to really be an asset.
It seemed like the puck was near the front of your net a lot. They never really had too many great opportunities. Were you happy with your team's ability to defend right in front of the net?
Yeah, you know, again, it's you know, when your first shots are coming from the outside, now, you know, your net front guys are, you know, got to push out and create a perimeter and not worry too much about fishing for pucks, because that's usually when things wind up in the back of your net. You know, so our guys got their toes headed up ice and pushed out and created a perimeter, and, you know, we were able to kind of minimize any damage off of that, you know, off of those perimeter shots that we're able to get through. And that's, you know, clearly the focal point of any D-zone coverage, is to, you know, make that critical area in front of your goaltender difficult ice to earn, and, you know, getting rid of second and third shot opportunities. And, you know, again, for the most part, I thought we were able to do that successfully tonight.
And obviously losing Troy is huge.
Yeah.
How do you think having to put Madison Smiley up on that wing has hurt your ability to run 4 lines and kind of the depth that you built up at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I think Madison's done a nice job. You know, he's gotten in on the forecheck. He's physical. He's obviously strong. You know, I think you get into tight games, and, you know, obviously in the third period, there's, you know, 3 power plays, you know, 2 for us and 1 for them, and, you know, you start riding some guys a little bit more than you would in a game like last Saturday, where you're able to roll 4 a little bit more. So, you know, I don't know that necessarily Troy's absence shortens our bench, because I certainly have confidence in the guys that we have in the lineup.
I know, I guess the last 2 years, we're always asking you about, you know, trying to beat UMass Lowell, and it seems like you guys had a couple of good games against them now. Is it almost good for, I guess, some of the guys who have been here for a couple of years to know that you guys can play with this team, and, you know, there's really no mental thing with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, you would have to ask them that specifically. I just think, you know, for us, it's about making sure that you're just good enough at their game to be able to get to your game, you know, and that's the key in any philosophy. You know, it's, why, you know, we were able to have some success at Merrimack where we hadn't had success in a while. You know, going from being able to be just good enough at UNH's game to get to what you do very well and have success, to going into Merrimack and you know, doing that same thing, only, you know, having to do something completely different. You know, and I think our guys, you know, as we're continuing to build here, you know, guys are able to play Lowell's game, you know, just good enough, you know, to string it so that we can get to our game. And then trying to hold playing your game for as long a period of time before they wrestle some of that momentum back. You know, the guys that are coming back, veteran guys that, as you mentioned, maybe haven't had the success, I think they've started to understand that philosophy and concept, and you know, we've gotten better at winning a wall battle. We've gotten better at, you know, getting off of the small ice and getting onto the big ice. You know, obviously the D-zone coverage has gotten better. You know, we've been able to go bend and don't break and then get out and run because we've been much better at our transition from defense to offense. You know, so all those things as we continue to mature as a team, you know, allow us to play different games well enough to get us to what our strength is.
Coach, you guys have been playing well against nationally ranked teams this season. Why do you think that is?
We've got talented players. It kind of comes down to a simple philosophy. Once we figure out what it is that we're really good at and, you know, commit to being there for each other like we have as the season's worn on, it's, again, regardless of who we're playing, you know, non-conference opponents, conference opponents, you know, we've been able to, again, put ourselves in position to win games. So just so happens that we play in the best conference in the country, and most of the teams that we're going to play on a given night in conference are ranked right now.
Coach, what have you seen from the pairing of Montour and Hecknick over the past few games?
I think it's good. They've been kind of learning each other, you know, and that's always important, and knowing where guys are going to be. And you know, Mark's obviously a good skater in his own right, and he's got you know, good length, and defensively he uses that to his advantage. And I think they've blended pretty well in the early going to give us, you know, two bigger guys that are still pretty mobile, that can defend well enough to get us into offensive transition situations, and then both be a part of it. You know, I think obviously Brandon is a little bit more obvious sometimes in that, but Mark's got a very good innate ability to jump and join at the right times and be in good spots spacing-wise. You know, so again, we're trying to develop more of a transition pair of guys that can play both sides of the puck.
No, I just sticking with it, you know. I felt like I've played pretty consistent all year, you know, might not get the turnout that I've wanted earlier on, and, you know, it's starting to pay off, the hard work and just sticking with the grind, and that's pretty much it. No secrets or nothing, you know.
When you guys, what do you take out of a game in which you play to a tie, especially a game where there's no hockey points on the line? I mean, I guess just simply, what do you take from something like that?
You know, it's the way it happened. It's not the way we wanted to go. You know, we had a pretty good opportunity to win a game. So tonight, you know, we're not really happy with our full effort. You know, like Coach said to us after the game, you know, if we play like we did last weekend, full 60 minutes, you know, the outcome would be different. And we had a chance to do that, but came out and didn't do everything the right way, and didn't finish it up all the way.
So does it almost feel like kind of a letdown, despite, you know, both teams getting the same result?
Yeah, like honestly, sorry. The biggest thing is, like, even if there's points on the line or not, every team wants momentum. Doesn't matter who you play next time, or if there's points next game. The biggest thing is getting momentum for that next game, because every team in this league is good. So you really need all the momentum and all the help that you can get to really succeed the next game and do well. You know, you want your guys to play well. You want the chemistry to be going. You want the guys to be up and happy. You know, when guys are happy, the guys are playing well. So that's the biggest thing.
Did you guys kind of see a difference in the way they were playing over those last 10 or so minutes of the game, UMass Lowell?
Not me. I don't really pay attention to it that much. And as a goal, I'm kind of in my own world, so I can't really speak to that.
You know, they really turned, like when we turned the puck over in the third period, they really jumped on us really quick. I know we weren't really as ready, I guess, at the time. We kind of obviously turned over too many pucks, and that's really, they just capitalized on those chances. But other than that, I think they had a solid game. They worked hard ever since the first drop of the puck, but we just kind of let go in the last 10. Even though we had some opportunities, we just we couldn't pull it out.
It seemed like you guys have been a little bit quicker than they were last week and then tonight. Is that something you've sensed down on the ice?
I haven't really sensed that. I can see that we have sometimes points in the game where we have the puck a little bit more often, and we can kind of get little strides ahead of them. But they're a quick team as well. I'll give them that for sure. But I think the guys are just playing well. So it goes line in line. Guys playing to their abilities and to their strengths. So sometimes the puck goes our way or the extra step comes our side. But other than that, it's all part of the game.
Dennis, what does it do for your guys' confidence, especially you as a younger guy, knowing that you guys just getting to compete every night with ranked teams? I mean, it's great for us fans, but how does it feel from your perspective?
It's great. Honestly, it's a great feeling. I wish we were up there. Maybe sooner than later we will be. To see that we can actually battle and even succeed against ranked teams. Even couple weeks ago, BU, we played well that night. Even last week against UMass Lowell, it feels good to be able to be up there with those guys. So it's a confidence boost at the same time as playing not ranked teams, but it's a good feeling.
Steve, building off that, I want to ask you this specifically because you've been here the last few years. Yep. I mean, this team was a problem for you guys the last 3 years. It's almost, I guess, even going into the immediate future, as in tomorrow night, you feel like, there's more confidence going against these guys. You guys are showing the last few games that you can skate with these guys. Maybe they're not in your head, whatever it was before.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's college hockey, and anyone can beat anyone any night. It's that's probably the best part about it. Going into it, this is the first time we've been a chance to play for the Governor's Cup, and that's something that we haven't been able to do for the last 3 years. And this is the first time we beat them and tied them. So, for me, being from Massachusetts and some of the other Massachusetts boys, that's something that we look into. So, it's good that we're competing, and it's a hill that we're going up. We're getting better and better every game, I think, and just got to keep doing that.
Dennis, I know on Tuesday you emphasized special teams play heading into this matchup. So how do you think you guys fared today?
I think our PK was obviously pretty good. We could obviously block a little bit more shots, even 5-on-5. Power play, I think they kind of, they made some adjustments, obviously, to our game. But we just kind of got to look at our game tonight and just kind of take those little points that we noticed that we could get away with and kind of try and pull out and, get a goal from one of those little situations or get more pucks on net. That's the biggest thing. Even though we had 30-plus shots, I don't think we had enough on the power play. So, we could really work on getting more pucks to the net and, getting bodies in front.
Dennis, what was going through your head through those 2 assists that you got tonight?
The first one, just kind of going to the net hard, kind of went behind the net, made a short side play to Walshy trying to, just get it to a body in front. Puck was laying there, Walshy buried it. Second one, just shorthanded, kind of tried to get around a guy, pushed it forward, made a move, and, I saw the D kind of go down. I kind of wanted to shoot it, but at the same time, I saw Jaakko just wide open. He didn't even need a call for it. I knew he was there, so, made a good play to Jaakko, and, Cade knows how to bury. So.
What does having Jaakko back in the lineup mean for you guys?
It's a lot of speed. It's obviously good plays on the draws. You can win draws.
Big face-off guy.
Yeah, big face-off guy. He's a PK guy and he's a power play guy. You know, it's all around. He's a guy who just he knows the game. He's a great player and
Big voice in the room too. You know, he's a small guy, but he has some heart in him. So he likes to play with all his heart and give it his all. So it's always good to have those guys with you.
yeah, and it kind of gives us a little bit more depth in our lineup, of course, because you know he plays all positions, all shifts, a lot of minutes during the game. So you know, it's a great feeling having him back in. He can make plays. So.
Steve, Brendan and Mark work really well together. How has that helped you, knowing that you have such skilled guys up in front of you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, I think all 6 played well, and you know, have been for a little while now, and you know, whoever's out there, it doesn't really matter. You know, Montour's obviously a gifted player. Mark's a solid skating defenseman, and you can go down the whole lineup. So it's definitely good to know that they're working well together, clicking well since they've been paired. So it's good.